Wanted to this is going to be a very short video. I mentioned in a previous video the niche that I am in for one of my Shopify stores. That was kind of an accident because I generally don't talk about my particular stores or my particular products. But I'm posting that video. I'm leaving that video as it is for a couple of reasons. One, that store, that was my first Shopify store. It's been hugely successful. It is entrenched in the marketplace. I have, and in fact, I mentioned I used my own store as a case study, and I mentioned specifically how I was marketing that store. I think it's an incredibly valuable lesson. It's not a lesson or information I usually share outside my course, but I'm going to leave it there. I'm not going to tell you which video it's in, so you're going to have to look at a bunch of my videos to find it. That's the price you pay. But I want to tell you something about that. Rather than just throw that market niche that I'm in out there and not tell you anything about it. I do want to talk to you a little bit about the products I sell in that store. I want to tell you this because one of the things that amazes me is that when people are starting out selling on Amazon or on Shopify or on eBay, is that they somehow think, well, we'll start off small and we'll sell inexpensive items. And that, I believe, is actually almost one of the first stepping stones to failure, or at least to frustration, because you can have a successful online experience. You can have a successful store. You can have a successful product, but you may not even identify it as being successful because you don't make any money. You've got to sell a lot of products at $10 a piece to make any money, because by the time you pay for the product, you pay for your marketing, you pay whatever fees you have on Shopify or through Amazon. If you're lucky, you end up with $3 for every $10 that you sold. And then from those $3, you now have to pay your taxes, whether it's, well, definitely federal taxes if you're in the U.S., and in most cases you pay state taxes. So maybe you end up with $2.50 for every $10 in sales. This is something I've covered on this channel before. I have a problem with YouTubers that put out videos and say, oh, I made $10,000 last month, and they show a printout from Amazon or they show a printout from Shopify showing $10,000 in sales. $10,000 in sales is not the same as making $10,000. Huge difference, trust me. Don't confuse $10,000 in sales with $10,000 in profit. They're completely different. So, pardon the short rant, but it's a pet peeve of mine when people confuse sales and profit. But anyway, the money to be made is in more expensive items. If you're creating a Shopify store, it is no more difficult for you to list an item for $1,000 than it is for you to list an item for $10. It doesn't take any more of your time, any more of your effort. And the people out there who have $1,000 to spend on a product are also the people out there that have capacity on their credit card, they have the income, and they have the desire for these expensive products or more expensive products. Whether $1,000 is expensive depends on what it is. A $1,000 car is not expensive, but a $1,000 watch is relatively expensive. So don't be afraid of selling, more costly items. Your percentage of profit may be the same, but if I can sell something for $1,000 and have $400 in gross profit, that's better than selling something for $10 and having $4 in gross profit. You've got to sell a lot of $10 items before your profit amounts to anything. But if I can sell $10,000 products a month, that gives me $4,000 in gross profit. That's worth doing. And if I can find one product like that, I can find 5 products like that, and I can find 10 products like that. And that's where these numbers that you see online, where people, the more legitimate people, who, when they talk about making $10,000 and $30,000 and $50,000 a month, that's what they're doing. They're breaking down this idea of making money into manageable chunks. And they're saying, okay, I want one product that I can sell $10,000 worth of in a month. And once they find that product and it's selling, they then go to the next product and they build a catalog of products that each will sell X amount per month. And together, that can create a lot of money, a really substantial income. So in saying that, and now reverting back to the beginning of the video, in my first Shopify store, and this is a store that I still operate to this day, the least expensive item I sell in that store is $395. The most expensive item I sell in that store is $28,000. Okay? Last year, I sold 4 $28,000 items in a Shopify store. The profit margin on that item, by the way, is over 50%. So whatever that works out to, 14,000 times 4, $56,000. So you have $56,000 in gross profit on 4 sales. To a lot of people, that's a complete, that's an entire year's income. But 4 sales in the course of a year generated right at $56,000 in gross profit. There were people out there willing to spend $28,000 and who had the capacity to spend $28,000 on a credit card. These people are out there. So don't be afraid of selling more expensive items. Even if your margin's the same, the actual dollar amount involved makes it worth your while to sell those items. The average cost of the item in this particular Shopify store, and this is off the top of my head, but the average cost is probably somewhere in the neighborhood of around $2,000, $1,900 to $2,000. So, just using that as an average, none of the sales in this store are small. But like I said, the least expensive item is $395. And the store is hugely successful. Has been really since day one. And I gave you way too much information in the other video. I told you not only what the niche is, but how I was marketing it. But go find that video. It's well worth finding, and combine it with what I've said in this video, and I think it's going to change your thinking or open up your, illuminate some areas that might not have made sense to you before, in terms of the information you're receiving from other people and probably even myself. I don't like putting teasers out there, and this was not meant to be a teaser. But by the same token, I also don't really like putting out detailed information about my personal products or my personal niches that I'm involved with. It just isn't a really good idea, probably. But here's a freebie. So this is one that I've thrown out there for you. Again, combine this video with the previous video, and you've got a really powerful lesson and a really powerful tool there for you to think about. And please hit the like and subscribe button below if you have not already. Leave your comments. I can't wait to see what they are on this video. But I learn from your comments, and also your comments provide me with the information I need to respond to your questions and your issues, and that's why I'm here. So again, hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.